Hello, here is Alex from the C Designer, and in this video I'm going to show how to create a qualitative metrics using a spreadsheet and as well as using the C Designer software. So most of the time we'll be talking about the use of the spreadsheet for this, and to get started, what is a qualitative metric? What is a qualitative key performance indicator? So the examples that we have been discussing before were quantitative metrics. It means that when we enter the values, we entered some number, and it was relatively easy to deal with. In previous videos, we discussed how to normalize these values, how to convert them from different measure units into percents. We discussed how to do the weights. We discussed how to calculate the cases when the increase of value, the performance is decreasing, and the opposite cases. So all this was relatively easy for quantitative values. When we deal with qualitative values, the thing is getting a little bit more complicated. So what's the difference? So here you see the values, the numbers, and these are quantitative values. But also you can have a kind of natural choice metric. I created here a simplest example. I have here expert opinion, and we can put it on scale. We can say that, okay, good stands for 5, bad stands for 0, average stands for 3. But for sake of this example, we'll pretend that we're going to use it in this form, in qualitative form. And actually, it's more natural to use this in this way. It's easier to understand what stands behind this value. So basically, when I have expert opinion, I just pick here the right option. Okay, bad, and my value is 0, and the performance is 0, and I put here good. My value is 5, and the performance is 100, and I put here average. The value here changes, and the performance changes as well. So that's how many of the qualitative metrics might look like. Of course, we can do these metrics in a numerical form, but sometimes it's more natural to do it in this way. We can understand the meaning of this metric more intuitively. And let's see how to create such thing in spreadsheets. Well, actually, I don't have a good solution for this, but I have, let's say, two not that good solutions, but the solutions that work might work for you. Okay, so first of all, we need to decide, let's say, what is a caption or text and what should be the value. So basically, we need to explain that, okay, bad stands for 0, average stands for 3, good stands for 5. Now we have two options. Option 1. First of all, we need to create a drop list that I have created as we have here, this drop list. And it's actually the easiest part. We need to pick data validation and pick this option list from a range and indicate the range that we want to use as source of data for this list. And that's it, we have this choice. What's the problem about this choice? If I do change something, I still have my choice in text format. Yeah, so it's still, it's not really good. And what I want to do, I want to associate this choice with this current value. So I need to explain to a spreadsheet that when I pick here bad, it should show me the value 0. When I pick here average, it should be 3, and so on and so forth. I was looking for a good way to do it 100% automatically, and it seems like without creating some scripts, it's not really possible. If you have some option, just mention it in the comments. But according to my best research, without using scripts, it's not that easy to do. But we can come up with some operations with some conditional conditions here to make use of it. So what we do here, we will create a condition if the value of this cell is equal to the value of this cell, then give us 0. So let's check it. Here, yeah, it worked. Now, when the option is not, this choice is not the first one, an average, and the spreadsheet doesn't know what condition should it use. So we need to add a different condition. If we have average, we should use its value. So the formatting is quite straightforward. And finally, if this is good, we need to use this value. Okay, closing. Yeah. So now we have what we wanted to achieve. If I switch the value between good, average, the value here changes. So the benefit of this approach, if I want to change a scale, let's say good is 100, average is 45, so automatically we'll see the change here. The problem is that if I want to add more lines here, more options here, this formula will grow a lot. So, okay, option 2 is not better, I believe, but anyway, I will show you. Okay, we have the same choice, and yeah. But now we'll pick the choice. Actually, we'll change it. We'll change to the next cell, to this column. So we'll pick the number right away. Yeah, the problem is that without looking at this table, we don't know what this number stands for. So what we can do, we can create some simple formulas, build this line. So I concatenated these two lines, these two lines, these two lines, and then concatenated all these 3 lines into this one. It's not really elegant, but anyway, I promised to show 2 options. So I just enter the data validation here and put this text into the hint. Okay, so now when it's not always showing as expected. Yeah, so now I see that, okay, if I want to put here average, I need to pick 45. And I have right away, I have a numerical value. Not really elegant, but for some choices, you want to give your users of your scorecard, this natural choice option for qualitative values. Okay, it was long explanation. Now let me spend 1 minute to show how to do this in BC Designer software. Here, it's much easier. Here we have measure unit drop box, and we just need to create a new measure unit that expert opinion, for example. And we need to tell to the software that bad stands for 0, average stands for, I don't know, 45, and good stands for whatever, for 80 or 90. Okay, so that's it basically. And now the software allows me to pick my choice here in natural way without entering any numbers and doing any any formulas. And as you can see, the software calculates for me the final numbers, the performance using these data. So basically, if we have baseline, bad, value add, bad, and target good, then our performance and progress is 0. Then increasing, we increase the performance, and increasing, we increase it to good. Okay, so I do believe this for some cases you need to go on with spreadsheets for this task, but if you have an option, I would recommend for you to get BC Designer. If you don't have a subscription, you can get a freeware version, which is a BC Designer Lite. I will share the link in the description for this video as always, and just start a prototype of your scorecard there. And as you can see there, you have the same option. It's a software for Windows, so it's a little bit different, the interface. Here we had it on general tab, this measure drop list, but there you will have it on the same general tab, the same measure drop list. So it works in the same fashion. You just enter and customize it according to your needs. And again, if you know some more elegant way to do this, but please without scripting, because using spreadsheets with scripts is problematic in many organizations, because scripts might contain some viruses and so on and so forth. So normally people block scripts, and we don't want any scorecard to be broken. So if you know some elegant way to do what we did, please share in the comments. I think that's all for this video. Thank you for your attention.